Welcome to another episode of Ask Professor V. And in this video, I'm going to talk about my experience as a student and how I broke the habit of making so many careless or stupid mistakes during my math exams. And this is something that a lot of my students ask me for advice about because it's very commonplace that you're in an advanced math class, yet you find yourself losing points on exams for making so many silly errors. So, how do you break that habit? How do you stop yourself from doing it? I'm going to go back in time, give you a little story time about young Professor V when she was in high school. So, if you didn't know this about me, I have another video where I interviewed my mother. She's actually a math professor as well. So, I was a couple of grade levels ahead always in my math classes for my age. And when I was in honors pre-calculus in high school, that was when I was really confronted with the reality that careless mistakes were a problem that were costing me a lot of points on exams. So I kind of had a little bit of a reputation amongst my friends and classmates as being the girl who was better at math or could help out other people. I was known as being good at it. And during class, we would, be often given worksheets to complete. And next to me was a boy that I thought was pretty cute and I had a little crush on. So I enjoyed math class. I would help him. I would help my other friends. I was loving life. Then we get our first exam back. And wouldn't you know, he did better than me. Not only was I embarrassed, I barely got an A, like a really low score for me. And I was so ashamed. I thought, what in the world is going on? So I looked through my test, and every single mistake was just some careless error, some negative that I forgot, simple arithmetic errors. I just was adding wrong, multiplying wrong, totally like spacing out. So I thought, this is a fluke. This won't happen again. I don't know what was going on with me, but obviously I know math better than this. I should be getting a top A in this class. Okay, so second exam rolls around and I'm like, okay, let's do better this time. And history repeats itself. I get my test back, A minus, and Mr. Crush over here did way better than me. And he would rub it in my face like, ooh, look, I did better than you. And aren't you supposed to be so good at math? You're usually helping me. What's your problem? I'm flipping through my exam. Same thing happened. Careless mistakes left and right. So I was done. At this point, I was irritated, not just with the fact that like I was trying to impress some guy, but also like I knew I was better than that. I knew I understood the material. So why was I doing stupid things in the middle of a test? So from that moment on, I said, okay, I'm going to break this habit one way or another. And when I went home that night to do my homework assignment for math, I said, I'm going to pretend like this is the test. So I'm going to do every single problem, check the answer immediately. And if something's wrong, I got upset with myself to the same level that I would get upset when I got my exam back and saw that I was losing points over careless errors. So I just said, I have to start training myself to treat every moment as high stakes. I need to always do my best. And I can't say, oh, whatever, that was a silly mistake. I know what I'm doing. No, you have to hold yourself accountable to always practice math as perfectly as possible. And that's the big key. That's the big differentiation. Because if you think about it, when you take an exam, you're usually more nervous than in everyday class. And what happens when your nerves are high? Well, your heart starts racing a little bit. You probably don't think as clearly or as calmly as you normally do. So you are more prone to make careless mistakes. Well, how do we combat that? If we are used to performing at a level even higher than we need to on an exam. So don't think, oh, it's an exam. My brain will automatically know and switch on some like super level of performance that it doesn't normally do math at. I know today's a test day. I really got to like bring my A game. No, it doesn't work that way. You have to do your homework, classwork, all your math attempts at that high level to ensure that on exam day you can perform as well as you want to. And people too often use the expression or the phrase, practice makes perfect. That's not true. Practice makes permanence. Whatever you repeatedly do creates an ingrained pattern in your behavior. Only perfect practice makes perfect. So you need to make sure that you're practicing math perfectly as much as possible, since you need to do it perfectly on an exam. And I didn't come up with that. I heard that from someone else's piano teacher. But it is very applicable not only for math, but for learning piano or anything that you want to excel in. So, my advice to you, what can you do differently right now? One, as you practice math problems, check that you're doing them correctly immediately. Don't do 5 problems or 10 problems and then check your answers. Because if you've been doing them incorrectly, all that's happened now is you've repeated doing bad math habits over and over and over. And then now you need to undo them. It would have been better had you just not done anything at all. I'm being perfectly honest. So please check as you go. Second thing is get just as upset with yourself when you make a careless error in some homework assignment or classwork or low stakes, assessment as you do on an exam. So just hold yourself accountable to be better. Be your most excellent version of yourself at all times. And then the other thing that can help you during exams, my third point of advice is to just try to calm your heart rate, try to be as zen as possible. I think some deep breathing exercises or meditation can really help you. When your heart starts racing, it's really uncomfortable. Your hands can sweat, all sorts of, not desirable situations occur. So just find a way to get into a calm, sort of meditative state where you can do math. Don't get so zen that you fall asleep in the middle of a test. Though I had a student do that. That was funny one time. And that can help you. So overall, I hope this gives you guys some useful ideas as you go into finals week or for future semesters, because I understand it is super frustrating when you lose points on things that were careless. It's one thing if you lose points because you truly didn't understand a problem or you didn't study enough, but it's another thing when it's like, I should have totally done better. I knew that. What was I thinking? That's not me. So I've been there, done that. Not to say that I never make careless mistakes anymore, but after I implemented that new habit of doing my homework and pretending like it was an exam, then from there on out, I basically always got like very, very high A's and rarely lost points on careless mistakes. One last thing I can give you a little tip on is give yourself a fake exam or a practice exam. So pick out several problems similar to what you think your instructor would give you. And then go somewhere awkward. Like don't be in your living room where you're comfortable. Go not at Starbucks. Don't stop that. Like go somewhere weird, like the library in an awkward corner where it's quiet and you don't feel comfortable, equally uncomfortable as you do when you're in your classroom. If your classroom's open during certain times and you have access to it, go sit there and time yourself and give yourself like a fake little assessment just to like simulate the situation, and that will help you as well. That way when you're taking the real exam, it doesn't feel so bizarre, so foreign, so unnatural. Okay, so those are my tips for you guys. I hope finals week goes great though, and I wish you guys lots of success. If you need help though, you need to review before your exams. I have final exam review videos for Calculus 1 and 2 in multiple parts. So you can just search for the topics on my YouTube channel, and all the videos are organized by playlists as well. Pre-calc, calc 1, calc 2, calc 3, etc. So just check it out. You can also follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, mathwithprofessorv. I love you guys so much. I'll be back sooner than later. Bye.